football game to us. This is about the men and women that have fought, bled, and died for our freedom. This is your way of innocently giving back. Back in 2010, I had a Marine son. He was being sent to Afghanistan. And what his mom and I used to do is we'd go down to Camp Pendleton and throw him a party. We'd buy him a keg of beer. We'd go down to Afghanistan, and we'd say, go get some. This one was a little different. My son never told me where he was going on this deployment. He'd already gone twice before. He told me all the time, but this time, he didn't. He held it from me. But at this party, as we're having beer, he takes me by the arm. He said, Dad, let's take a look. Wait, son, we're over here. We've got your friends here. What? He goes, no, Dad, I need to tell you where we're going. He told me, he goes, Dad, we're going to sing in Afghanistan. Do yourself a favor. Don't Google it. What do you think I did, coaches? What do you think I did? I Googled it immediately. I come to find out over my phone that my son was going, and the Marines were going to one of the worst areas in all of Afghanistan. The British Royal Marines had occupied this territory for 4 years in the Helmand province, but it came at a heavy cost to them. Over 100 men lost lives, and over 1,000 were wounded. This is where my son and the 3-5 Marines were going. He tells me in the party. Several days later, they take off. My son says as they were landing in the fob of their base, the relative safety of their base, they're hearing pinging sounds coming off the helicopter. They're landing, ping, 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 ping. He looks out, they're surrounded by white flags. As they were landing in the base, they were getting shot at. The white flags that they saw around their base, what the Taliban do is they put white flags or white sheets on the ground. And with black spray paint, they spray paint, death to the Americans, death to the infidels. That's you and I. That's where he was landing. They get acclimated to the base all the time under enemy fire. Then the first patrol leaves the base. It gets a mile down the road and they hear a boom! The boom was so loud that it shook the base. They radioed to their guys that just left. Guys, you okay? Guys, Marines, you okay? You okay? Radio silence. They mount up. They head out the base. What's going on? What happened to our guys that just left? They come up on the scene. Under enemy sniper fire, a bomb blew up under one of those Humvees, lifted it up off the ground, twisted it like a corkscrew, and killed 4 Marines instantly.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No. This is where it gets weird. I'm here, a football coach in Sacramento, California. And I get a call from a neighbor up the road, and he tells me, Coach, something happened to my neighbor's son. Your son's a Marine, right? And I go, yeah, my son's a Marine. He goes, something happened, I heard screaming. Something's wrong, I think their son was killed. I start calling, I start finding out who it was. I come to find out that the Marine was killed was Victor Dew. Victor Dew was a Granite Bay football player when I was a coach. I coached him. Victor's parents were going to Dover to get their body. And as they were bringing the body home, I got close to the family and they said, Coach, will you eulogize our son? I'm a dad. I'd be honored to eulogize your son. So I did. I eulogized him and I watched him get lowered into the ground. I watched the flag get folded and then handed to Patty and Tom. It was the hardest day of my life. My son was still there. Then a few days later, I get a call from Afghanistan. And what happens is when you get a call from a satellite phone, when your son is at war, it gives a crinkling sound. So I saw the number come up, and it was definitely an Afghanistan number. Dad, son, are you okay? Are you okay? Dad, I gotta ask you something. I gotta ask you something real quick before it goes dead. What is it, son? Tell me. What do you need? He goes, Dad, my colonel tells me that a coach eulogized Victor Dew. Was that you, Dad? Yes, son, that was me. He goes, Dad, I was there. I told him at the meeting. As a coach, as a dad, I couldn't sit idly by. I got to know Patty and Tom Schumacher, their son. I got to bury their son. I had to do something. I had to do something to give back. And that's when we created the Honor Bowl. This is something that means a lot to us, and it should mean a lot to you. This is more than a football game. You guys out there, the spirit of your athleticism, your fans, the sponsors, the 49ers, whatever it is, this is your way of giving back. You go out there and you play your hearts out. Now I got some friends I want you to meet. Now listen, Coach, let me tell you something. Don't worry about the clock. You control the clock. You guys will have plenty of time to warm up. But I got some friends you want to meet with me really quick. Patty, do you want to say something? Let's give it up for Patty Schumacher.
Hey, you know, I'm Nick's mom. You know, we're from Granite Bay, just around the corner from you guys. One of the stories that I heard about my son was after the battalion came back, and his buddies gave me a little brief about that day. They were ready to go out of their FOB, their forward operating base, for the first time. It was their first movement out. They knew what was going on. They knew the Taliban was there. They knew the roadside bombs, the IEDs were there. They knew there was going to be gunfire. They knew all that. Do you think they were scared? Yeah, they were. They were. They were terrified. But I was told, my son said, hey guys, we got this. We trained. We know what we're doing. We got it. Let's just go out there and get it done. That says a lot about his character. So, I want to ask you, have you trained hard? Have you trained hard?
Yes, ma'am.
One more time. Have you trained hard?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared for this game?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to win?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to win?
Yes, ma'am. All
right, I'd like you to introduce to you Gunnery Sergeant Freddie Torres.
Let's give it up for Freddie. Come on.
I'm going to start out. Good afternoon. I'm going to start out. My name is Gunnery Sergeant Torres. First of all, thank you for coming out here and playing and honoring those 25 Marines. You're going to see 25 faces out there, banners of Marines that deployed and didn't make it back. So 2001, I was an athlete just like you in high school. 2005, I graduated. 2006, I joined the Marine Corps. I knew I wanted to be a Marine from the day 2001 when we got attacked. I joined the Marine Corps. 2010, I deployed with 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. 2 months after Victor Dew and the 3 other Marines died, I'm going to share a quick story with you where hopefully you can use that story when you're facing a challenge, adversity, a hit, an injury, or fill in the blank, and you can overcome that. December 30th, 2010, there was a squad of Marines out on patrol. There was about 20 of them. Now, painting the picture of what that looks like, if you've ever watched the movie Lone Survivor with Marcus Luttrell, when they're on top of the mountain overseeing the village, mud huts, dirt roads, dirt alleyways, that's what staying in Afghanistan looked like. So these Marines are coming back from a 4-hour patrol. They were talking to locals, gathering intel. That back of the patrol, before it entered the patrol base, one of the Marines stepped on an IED, an improvised explosive device, a roadside bomb. Luckily, that bomb didn't go off all the way. That Marine's foot was shattered, his ankle was broken. They got him in a helicopter, they got him stateside. He was good, he was recovered. Now, the whole bomb didn't go off, so those Marines I had came in were still responsible to go back out there and blow it in place so the Taliban wouldn't pick it up and reuse it against them. So 4 Marines went back out. They placed a stick of demolition down. They were about to pull it when the Taliban from the east opened up from those villages. Now, 3 of the Marines ran to the north. One of the Marines, the one that was going to pull, ran to the east, and he picked up his rifle and he started firing back at the Taliban. He ran for about 20, 30 minutes. There was a little ditch and a waist-high wall where he was going to get behind and take some cover and suppress the Taliban back. As he got to the wall, he fell on his back, tried to get back up, and he looked down and he was covered in red. He had been shot twice. From the west, here comes one of those three Marines running towards him, slides in on his knee, takes his seatbelt cutter, scissors off, rips the pants off of him, and immediately blood gushing out of his leg. His femoral artery had been hit. Takes out a piece of gauze, slaps it on, puts it in the hole, takes out a tourniquet, slaps it on, ties it up, calls the squad that's inside the patrol base for a stretcher so they can get that Marine out. And they do. 2-3 minutes later, that stretcher shows up. They put him on the stretcher, count of 3, they're going to get him up. And they're going to carry him the last 30 meters inside the patrol base where there's a truck waiting, where there's a helicopter inbound ready to get him out of there. On the count of 3, they pick him up, they move him, and they're making the movement. And that Marine that's on the stretcher puts his hands up and reaches up to his best friend that's carrying him, squeezes his hand and says, "Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry." Last words he said on the battlefield, "Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry." Get him in a truck, get him in a helicopter, get him stateside. Now let me tell you the second half of that story, where you can use this when you're facing your challenges. January 2011, this Marine is bedside. The doctors come to him, they said, "Your leg's getting amputated, you're getting a prosthetic. By the way, medical retirement is coming your way because you're never going to be able to run and walk the same way again." January 2011 is when the doctors told him that. That Marine took a challenge and he said, "There's no way. Not taking it." He said by April, when the battalion gets back, when that squad that saved his life gets back, he wants to be standing there hugging every single one of them for saving his life, and the next morning he wants to take them out on a run. And I stand in front of you telling you April 15th, 2011, when that plane landed at March Air Force Base and that staircase came down, I was at the bottom of that staircase hugging every single one of the squad members that saved my life. Oh, by the way, the next morning I took him out on a run. Because I had the option of accepting what the doctors told me. I had the option of getting an amputated leg. I had the option of getting a medical retirement for the rest of my life, and my career was going to be over. 12 years ago, I chose the opposite of that. And I stand in front of you today not to share that story and put myself up here, but you've had challenges in your life, and if you haven't, you're going to. Whether it's an injury, whether it's a situation at home, whether it's a situation with your coaches, teachers, fill in the blank, whatever situation it is, you have the option. And I had the option to be a failure. That was going to be a failure if I didn't continue. Or I failed at something, I learned from it, picked myself back up, and did great things with it. And I used to say that I was lucky. I used to say that I trained my squad so good that they executed well. I was far from being right. That was God that kept me around. That was God that had a purpose for me. Maybe it was to stand in front of you 12 years later and share the story with you, so when you're facing that adversity, you can overcome it. When people tell you you won't or you can't, you show them that you will. So I share that story with you so you can honor those 25 Marines that are on those banners. So when you're on the sideline running up and down, scoring all these touchdowns that you're going to put in today, you can see the faces of those Marines that you're honoring. It's a tremendous privilege and honor to stand in front of you and share that story and share the story of the Marines out there. Thank you, every single one of you, from the bottom of my heart. God bless every single one of you, and good luck out there.
Freddie Torres. Yes, so you're going to lead your team through the tunnel when it's time, okay? I'm going to hand you the flag, and man, wave that glory for America, right? You guys, when the lights and the sirens and the smoke get all going, right? Whoop it up. Have some fun in there. Let these guys have some good pictures, right? But you're going to be carrying that flag. Congratulations, young man. Congratulations. At the end of the game, your coach, the 2023 Honor Bowl Championship Trophy, right? Yeah. Coach, these are decals. We ask you to give one to every athlete that wear it throughout the season. There's a good luck history to that. People that wear that go deep into the playoffs. So good luck with that, all right? Guys, go out there and lay it on the line. Stand up, get it up, come on. Hands in, hands in, hands up, hands up. Freddie, where are you? The 3-5 Marines have a saying, and it's get some. When I say 3-5, I want you to yell get some to the highest of your voice can take. 3-5! Get some! Get some! Get some! Get some! for Coach Jason Adams and the Rocklin Thunder! My name is Mark Soto, the Executive Director and co-founder of the Honor Group, who is the creator of the Honor Bowl. We are a nationwide nonprofit whose mission is to educate student athletes, coaches, and community about patriotism while raising money for injured, ill, and wounded veterans. Today, before the start of the Manteca, California versus Rocklin, California game, we would like for you to focus your attention to the center of the field. Here is where when a serviceman or woman is lost in the battlefield, it has become customary to arrange their rifle pointing downward along with their boots and helmets. Surviving members of their squad gather around and memorialize their fallen comrades. Some of the troops will pray. Others might recall personal stories, but make no mistake. This is a ceremony that is taken very seriously. Why? Because every soldier knows the next ceremony could be for them. When a rifle with bayonet is downward to the ground, it is a war memorial of a soldier killed in action. It also signals a time for prayer, a break in the action, to pay tribute to our friend and hero. Placing the rifle was Gunnery Sergeant Freddie Torres, drill instructor at Marine Corps Recruiting Depot, San Diego. Gunnery Sergeant Torres is a Purple Heart recipient and was wounded in action in the Helmand Province, Afghanistan, 2010. The combat moves represent the final march of the soldier's last battle. Placing the boots are Leslie Wade, President of Rolling Hills Blue Star Moms, Folsom, and Debbie Kahn Valin, President of Sacramento Blue Star Moms, Sacramento. The helmet is also a symbol of this great sacrifice. The helmet is being placed by Gold Star Dad, Tom Schumacher, honoring his son, Lance Corporal Victor Dew, 20, of Granite Bay, California. The dog tags identify the soldier's name, so he or she will never be forgotten. Placing the tags is Gold Star mother, Patty Schumacher, honoring her son, U.S. Marine Lance Corporal Victor Dew, 20, of Granite Bay, California. He was assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, Camp Pendleton, California, and he died October 13, 2010, in the Sagan District of Helmand Province. The dog tags that Patty is placing on the rifle are the actual tags that Victor wore when he was killed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while you're still standing in our Gold Star families and military members who are centered on the 50-yard line, we would like to acknowledge our new fallen heroes from a tragic Osprey crash in Melville Island, Australia, during a joint international training in August of 2023. No family ever wants to become a Gold Star family, but it is a title they wear in their hearts forever. At this time, we will honor our new 3 heroes, right, by remembering to say their names. I will say their name individually and will direct you when to repeat their name. After, we will have a moment of silence, followed by the playing of tests. Corporal Spencer R. Collard. Say, Spencer Collard. Captain Eleanor V. LeBeau. Say, Eleanor LeBeau.
Now, our national anthem will be sung by Holly Girl.
Tails. All tails. It is a head. I think you won the toss. Who won the ball? And Mantico won the toss.
Buffaloes have won the toss, chosen to receive.
This is